Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes' Godbreaker at online booksellers today. I was watching the Business's live stream where he talked about is complaining and whining the new manhood. And during the live stream, he played a segment from a CBS This Morning show with Gayle King and the other host of CBS This Morning, where they talked about men not looking for work. Now, in this segment, men not at work, they wanted to try to make the generalization that men aren't looking for work, and because men aren't looking for work, that there's not much male participation in the workforce. Even though we've had extremely low unemployment, there's a large population of men not looking for work, and the reason why many of those men aren't looking for work isn't what Gayle King and the CBS morning crew wanted to say, that men are just being lazy. No, the reason why many men have given up looking for work is because they run into something I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis, called the HR brick wall. Now, this HR brick wall is an imaginary wall created by many females who are a part of human resources departments and low-level management positions, and because there are mostly women who are making most of the hiring decisions in American business these days, this is the reason why many men have just walked away from the American job market, because when they try to go and enter the American workforce, they run into these female gatekeepers, and these female gatekeepers deny them entry into the job market. This is something I have run into myself back in 2009 when I was working to find another job at the City University of New York in their hiring pool, and it's something that has gone on for years in many corporate jobs, and running into this wall makes it nigh impossible for most men to find employment, because oftentimes when women are in charge of the hiring, what these women do is they bring their feelings into the hiring process, and when they bring their feelings into the hiring process, it makes it where most men just cannot get hired, even if they meet all of the qualifications for the job, or even exceed the qualifications for the job. Now, most women are emotional, and because they are emotional, when you put them in a position to go out here and hire employees, they are not very objective. Now, because these women are not objective, what they do in most cases is bring their female own group preference into the hiring process, and naturally they will prefer to hire another woman over a man. So in most cases, when you have a woman who is doing the hiring, she will bring her feelings into the hiring process and not look for a person qualified based on the merit, but based on her feelings about several different criteria. And the first of those criteria are a man's social status. So if she believes a man is of low social status, she will not want to hire that man, because she believes she cannot use that man to elevate her own social status. So this leads to a lot of young brothers who are not really having a lot of experience automatically being disqualified, because this woman is in her feelings about this man possibly being beneath her. And since he does not have the big college degree from the Ivy League university or the work experience from another big corporate job, what she will do is automatically reject that brother who is just looking to get his start in life. So that's the first black man that many females will go out here and reject, and even some white dudes, they will run into this depending on the woman who's they're interviewing for a job. Now, the second thing that a lot of women do when they are in these positions to hire is they go out and they start bringing their emotional baggage into the hiring process. And when she's in an interview with a man, what that woman will do is, because she sees a man who is reminding her of a father who left her, a boyfriend or who left her, or a man who did her dirty, or a husband who she's having issues with, or a baby daddy, she will bring her personal biases in and project them onto that candidate. And when she projects them onto that candidate, what she does is automatically disqualify that man, because she's seeing this man who wants to interview for this job and wants to try to get this job based on the merits. What she will do is project her feelings onto that man and look for any reason to disqualify that man, and make it where she can go out here and deny that man a job. Because what's happening is she's getting in her feelings about this man and all of the memories that are reminding her of all the bad times she's had with the father who left her, the boyfriend who dumped her, the baby daddy who ain't meeting her expectations, the husband who she divorced, or whatever man that she's having issues with. And because she doesn't want to deal with those feelings in psychotherapy or with a mental health counselor, she takes out her anger on that prospective candidate. And as she takes out her anger on that prospective candidate, what she does is disqualify that man for employment with malice aforethought, because what she wants to do is hurt that man who is just looking for a job, looking to get his life going, looking to move his life ahead. And she will go out here and reject that man, hoping to hurt that man in the same way she actually wants to hurt her father, that boyfriend who did her dirty, that baby daddy, that husband who she divorced. She's looking to hurt those dudes, and she's looking to hurt those dudes by hurting the guy just looking for a job and looking to find a way to get himself back on his feet. So that's another reason why many guys out here have a hard time in the job market. And as guys go out here, they're putting in applications. They're trying to go out here and trying to get something to break, but they can't get anything to break because many of these corporations, they have these females at the gate, and because these females are at the gate, they deny entry to every man looking for a job. Now, there's another group of women who are these feminists who are out here. They came right out of college, indoctrinated into feminism in college. And these women, they are talking about how there's all of this oppression. And they talk about because the women are so oppressed, they need to go out here and deny men a job. And if they looked at the statistics like I did when I was doing my research for the man crisis, they'll see that there is no oppression because the American workforce is majority women, and it's a majority of women who are keeping men out of the workforce, and they're looking to keep men out of the workforce because many of these women, they are looking to do their natural behavior of nesting, and they don't want anybody to disrupt their nest. So many of these women, like the beta males that they like to hire, what they want to do is keep their world smooth. And in keeping their world smooth, what they want to do is create a workplace where they don't have to take on any challenges, don't have to overcome any obstacles, and everything can just stay the same way because they don't want anybody disrupting the nest. And this can be seen in industries like Hollywood, where all they do is remake the same movies every year or continue to make movies like superhero movies, and they make the same movies every year with the same stories over and over again because the people who are a part of these industries, they don't want anybody to come up with new ideas because coming up with new ideas means coming out of the box, and coming out of the box means taking on new challenges, over creating new things like new characters, creating new story models, creating new story paradigms. That's what I mean as related to the example of Hollywood. But it also means taking on challenges, and that's something men love to do, but women don't like to do this, and that's why they work to keep men out of the job market, and that's why so many men have just decided to drop out of the traditional job market, because we are spending hundreds and thousands of dollars looking to put in applications, go on job interviews, and be told that we're not going to get this job, even though we sit there and meet all of the qualifications. That's what I ran into way back in 2009 when I lost my job at the City College of New York. And this is one of the reasons why so many men have dropped out of the job market, because when we try to come into the job market, we run into a bunch of gatekeepers who have been placed there by the wealthy to keep the job market from having men come into it, because many at the top, they fear competing with men, and they want to keep their fiefdom in place. So they have these gatekeepers in place. So this is why men have been dropping out of the job market, and I go into detail in this in my book, The Man Crisis, because I understand the real reasons why men have been dropping out of the job market, and they've been dropping out because they can't get in, and because they can't get in, many are not sitting on their backsides playing video games or Xbox. No, there are guys like myself, they understand we have to make a living, and if we have to make a living, we just go in a different direction. So what I did, because I was running into this HR brick wall from 2009 to 2012, I had put in thousands of job applications and was not getting any response. I had made multiple changes to my resume. I would go to interviews, and I would get, in many cases, when I run into females who are running HR, they would bring their feelings into the interview. And when they would bring their feelings into the interview, that was a game over, because it wouldn't matter what I would say to sell myself. When these women get in their feelings, they basically get into their whole selective hearing, and I talk about that in my book, why 70% of black women are single. They get into their selective hearing, and they don't want to hear a single thing you want to say unless you're somebody who has the buzzwords on their resume, or you have those high corporations on your resume. That's the only thing that these women go out here and want to see. So guys, a lot of them, they just say, look, I don't even want to bother with these companies, because even though you can show accomplishments like I have, where I can show I have published over 80 books and I have thousands of sales, and I can go out here and I'm doing live streams where I can show that I can sell myself regularly, they don't want to see that unless you've got a white corporation attached to your name, because like brand names, these women clout chase, and they look to hire based on clout. So this is why a lot of men walked away from the job market, because there was no way they could build there, because there's a wall in the way, and that wall is created by the wealthy to keep men from coming into the job market, because the wealthy fear that if other men come in, they'll tear down what they have, not understanding it's men who build things, and if you keep men from coming in to build, your entire empire is going to crumble, which is what's happening now to Warner Brothers Discovery and Disney right now, and many other businesses. They would not let men come in to innovate. They would not let men come in to create. They would not let men come in to bring in new ideas. So many men like myself, we go out here, we take our ideas and we take them to other platforms that are out here, and we create our own imprints, like I did with the SJS Direct imprint. You go out here and create something else because you wanted to offer these ideas and these stories to other people. You wanted to offer other products to people, but if they don't want to hear you because you've got gatekeepers at the door keeping everybody out, then there's no way good ideas can come in. So a lot of men are not sitting on the sofa and complaining and whining or sitting here playing Xbox. No, a lot of us are working to build outside of mainstream platforms, and we're working because we can't work for corporate America because the female gatekeepers keep us out. And because those female gatekeepers keep us out, we cannot come in to go out here and revolutionize things in the traditional way, but they're going to get revolutionized because if new people come in and create new marketplaces, create new products, then what's going to happen is people are going to eventually migrate to those new products because they were pushed off the platforms because of the gatekeepers who are looking to keep the status quo, but the status quo eventually becomes obsolete. And that's what's happening to corporate America right now, because corporate America refused to invest in men like myself, and they refuse to invest in men. So those men, while they're not working at corporate America, they're working for themselves, and they're working for themselves because you can't work in a place where you can't even get an interview, you can't even get a resume read. Many of these women, again, who are in HR and are there, what they do is they don't even read your resume. I've run into this in multiple interviews. They dismiss you, they disrespect you, and again, you have to meet the criteria based on their feelings, which is they're looking for this high-value man to come into an entry-level job, not understanding that high-value men are built over time, and it's the guy at the entry level who works his way up who becomes the high-value man because he's an asset to a company. He's an asset because he has built up skills, he has built up business and network connections. That is what makes that man high value. And again, many women, they don't want to invest in a guy at the bottom. No, they want that guy to be pre-made and established, and they expect him to come into an entry-level job, not understanding if you want to get high-value men, you've got to invest in them early on, and because that's the only way you can benefit from the payday at the end of the day. So in order to get a high-value man, you've got to invest in him at the entry level when he's 20. You've got to invest in him when he's 30, because he doesn't pay off until he's 45 or 50. That is when a man is in his peak as related to earning, and that's something many feminist indoctrinated women don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about the real reason that you don't have many high-value men. It's because corporate America invested in feminists in order to be able to have a bigger bottom line, because they could pay the feminist less and use her to break unions and break the ability to go out here and collectively bargain, which was created by men. That's the stuff that they don't want to talk about as related to why men aren't working, because men aren't working because men can't get into the business, because men are turned away from the door by feminists, fired if they do get in the door by policies like those, like the Me Too movement. It's a hostile environment for men. And again, many men are not whining and complaining. What they're doing is adapting and leaving. And they're adapting and leaving because they cannot get in the door, and they can't get in the door because of these feminist gatekeepers and their beta male supporters. Both of these individuals keep qualified and talented individuals out of America's job market, and they keep America's job market from actualizing its potential. Yes, we have 3.1% unemployment here in the United States. However, what those statistics don't tell you are that a lot of people's unemployment has maxed out. A lot of those people, like myself in 2009, 2010, were off the rolls, and a lot of those people had to find another way to make a living because we could not get the full-time job because of the gatekeepers who keep us out, because they hire on feelings and not on merit. They don't give people chances to show and prove their ability, because a lot of guys out there, they have that ability and that talent, but they never get that opportunity because we can't make people feel a certain way, because we want to focus on substance of our product and mastery of craft. And you cannot show mastery of craft and substance by being a big talker, because talk is cheap. A lot of people in many industries like entertainment and comic books yeah, they're good talkers, but when you bring their product to the table, it's not very good product. Whereas a guy like me, who is not much of a talker and isn't much of a doer, I'm working on making sure that the craft is exceptionally well done so that when people pick up a product, they know that it's going to be solid. And that's something I hear from many people who pick up SJS Direct books. And it's also something I've seen as related to the longevity of SJS Direct books. I've had books that are 10, 15 years old, and they still have an impact on readers. And again, that's a testament to quality, not myself. This is what readers have told me, because I have books like The Man Crisis, which was published in 2018, still gets a lot of praise from people. I have books like The Temptation of John Haynes, which was published in 2011, still gets a lot of praise. And again, that's a testament to quality. And again, if people had let me in the door of their publishing houses, then I wonder what type of impact I could have had at those publishing houses if those gatekeepers hadn't kept me out. Moreover, I also wonder what type of impact I could have had at many of these other companies if they hadn't kept me out. Again, a lot of men like myself, we want to work. We're willing to give 100%. We're willing to give our very best, but we can't give you anything if you don't want what we're offering. We can't give you top quality if you can't get in the door to show top quality. I mean, you can't sell somebody something they don't want to buy, and that's all due to the female gatekeepers who keep lots of professional, productive men out of good jobs, keep them out of marketplaces, keep them from going out here and being a top competitor. That is what we have today as related to today's workplace. So people wonder why men aren't working. Well, men aren't working because America won't invest in its men. No, we've got a lot of feminists out here telling the lie that, oh, the women are being oppressed. Well, how are women being oppressed in places like Disney, where Kathleen Kennedy is running Star Wars straight into the ground, where Mary Barra is running GM straight into the ground? I mean, we have women in executive positions, we have women in management positions, and federal statistics state women have most of the jobs. Women are the largest voting bloc. So how are women being oppressed? Critical question I asked in The Man Crisis and answered in The Man Crisis. So when people say, oh, men aren't at work, no, men are working, but they cannot work with the system as it is right now. So they have to find an alternative. And again, this isn't Pookie sitting on a sofa. It's men finding ways to go out here and work. And maybe more guys are working freelance. Maybe more guys have their own one-person business, but they're working, but they're just not working for a paycheck from a corporate boss. Now, if you want to pick up some of my books and learn more about why men aren't working, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to pick up some of my other books on the SJS Direct imprint, you can also find them on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to see me make more men's issues videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.